Okay, so starting your makeup look, I've already done my my primer, but I want to show you what that is. This is the primer. I'll be showing you how to use it with your concealer. This is also the eye primer, which I've already applied, and I've already done my brows, because the next step in makeup is fixing your brows, and you can either use your concealer or you can use like a matte cream shadow. So today I'm going to show you how to use your concealer and troubleshoot along the way if you've had these certain issues. Hopefully this can totally help fix that. So the first thing I want to show you is, this is a Makeup Artist quick tip, a setting spray. Now I know we're supposed to use it at the end, but if you're having trouble with caking and creasing even after you've done pretty much everything you're supposed to, you know, you've done your moisturizer, you've done your primer, and what is going on, this is a way to not only beat the heat on hot, humid days, but also to, I'll show you just as we go along, setting it with your setting spray along the way is actually just an extra step in preventing that. And what you want to do is hold the bottle about 8 to 10 inches from your face, and you're going to squirt in an X form and then a T form. So I'll do that right now. And then you just let it sit. So a few moments have passed. The setting spray has set and sitting on my face, and so I'm going to grab my concealer. Now this is a concealer trick. This is my regular skin tone if I want overall coverage, but for this highlighter trick and what I'm going to show you now, I'm going to use 2 shades lighter. So when you want to highlight with the concealer, use 2 shades lighter than your normal. So let's go ahead and do this. This is our Skin Perfecting Concealer. It is extremely pigmented. A tiny bit will go a long way. But this is also a quick tip that not a lot of people know about, but this is where you're going to add a little dab of your primer right along with your concealer. Just put a little squirt there, almost the same size and the amount. And you're going to use your finger for this. So let me just mix it here. You're going to just dab it and mix it slightly. And then you're going to want to just kind of touch it on the rest of your skin, because you're going to have quite a bit on there, and that tiny bit is going to do the work. So what we're going to do is go right under the eye, and we're going to sort of make a upside down triangle shape, but we're not going to stop there. We're going to take this actually all the way up to our hairline. Then we're going to do the concealer trick to fix our brows. We're going to do this first, and this is going to show me where, it's going to help me show where my brow should end, because I've created a part of my highlight for my cheekbone here, just like this. So during this video, I'm going to go ahead and do my other side and come back so we can just like not be here forever. This is what you do. Mix it with your primer like that. Let me go do my brows. I'll show you the other side in just a second. Okay, so now that I've done under my eyes, I'm going to go ahead and grab my cream shadow brush. And the reason you want to use this type of brush is because it's thin and it's somewhat paddled and it's synthetic. So anytime you're using a non-powder product such as the concealer, the primer, something that's wet, you're going to want to use a synthetic brush. So grabbing this paddle brush really helps with the precision. And let me go ahead and touch it. Just want to like kind of touch it off of your hand too, so there's not too much on your brush. And this edge helps with the precision for your brows. So starting from the inner corner and just taking it out just like that. Now at this point, you're just going to lightly feather it downward. So remember, we've mixed primer in with this concealer, so it's doing double duty. And I'm going to go ahead and cover my whole lid. I'm cleaning up my brows. I'm giving myself coverage. I'm also setting a base with an extra primer element for my eyeshadows. I like to go under my eyes because when I do full makeup, I do put pigments under there, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, taking the same technique to the top. I'm just very dabbing into, see how that little bit just keeps going and going. So going along the top. This is where you get a really awesome chance to clean up any brow edges that you want to clean up. And remember, we have not done our foundation yet, so these lines will be blended out. And that's how you're going to clean up your brows using your concealer. Be absolutely positive to set your concealer. If you don't set this with a powder, it's going to cake and crease and just be a disaster. And your pigments will not stay. They'll just smudge everywhere. So I like to use this beautiful color Elated from our Addiction Palette 1. This is neutrals and browns. I use this for like everything. Tap off the excess. You want to tap it in place. Just give it a light tap. You don't want to go in there and spread and push. You just want to kind of place the pigments where it needs to be. Let's add a little bit more. Always tapping off that excess. Now at this point I'm holding the brush low so that the pressure on my brush is light, and I am going to gently just kind of swipe, gently, barely, do under. And this is how I'm prepping my eyes for my eyeshadow. Let's just get that up there too. Okay, now I'm going to show you the next trick of where you can use your concealer. The next areas to apply your concealer would be actually the sides of your nose. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm still using that same bit. The primer actually thins it out just a little bit, and again gives it just that extra sticking power because of the primer. And this is where you do want to use your finger and just kind of press, push and press. Let your body heat work with the makeup, work with the chemistry. Let's do the other side. Okay, so I'm just pushing and pressing, just on the sides of your nose. This helps later when you're going to contour your nose, that you have this highlighted here. Okay, let's do the next one. This one is one of my favorite things to do because I love to sculpt and shape my cheeks and contour. I love this so much. Going back to my cream shadow brush and just taking off maybe half of what's left here. There's barely anything visibly, but it sure does go a long way. So when you contour and sculpt your cheeks, you have a hollow here. And this is where you're going to add your shadows and your blush and your highlights. But here is where you want to keep light. So let's go grab some of that a little bit more and just go ahead and brush it on here, creating a stronger jawbone. When you do your contour goes to the center of your eye, so picture your pupil. So that's where you're going to want to stop that shadow. You don't want to take it all the way, but you do want to have a little bit of a fade. Now again, when we use our foundation over this is going to be the underlying highlight that is just going to show through just a little bit. It just gives, every little bit just gives a little bit of emphasis and drama and look. Subtle is the word I'm looking for. Subtle. All right, now you see how I've already just created just a tiny bit of a sculpted look, just like that. Let me blend this a little bit more. Now I finally, out of that teeny tiny drop, finally I'm gonna have to use a teeny tiny more. Goes a long way. So here's that teeny tiny bit I just added. I'm just gonna blend that a little bit, because for this, we are going to actually put concealer here and here with your brush. Just brush it on. And you can see already that it's smoothing out this whole look. And again, with the primer element, this is where all those fine lines where makeup sinks in and cakes. So if you are using this technique and around your lips, you'll prevent that. Okay? That looks pretty intense, right? So you're gonna blend it if you want. But again, when you use your foundation, it's gonna blend out. If you have spots, this is the point where you'd want to go and, you know, you might even want to just grab whatever's left on your hand and just kind of hit the center of your forehead just to kind of smoothen it out. I like to go in kind of the shape of a heart, like that. Okay, here we go. So for your lip look, what you want to do before you apply anything, exfoliate your lips. I also like to put on a bonbon, because this is a tinted bonbon, a tinted lip balm. But this one doesn't have a whole lot of color unless you really use a lot. You'll it can create like an opal color, which is really pretty. But otherwise, you're just moisturizing your lips. So having your lips moisturized while you're doing your makeup is really important to an awesome lip look. I'm just gonna grab that. I can't even see it here. That little teeny tiny bit that's even left on my brush, and just go on my lips. And this is preparing for a lip look. Okay, so real quick, before you stop with your concealer, this is where you want to, again, use your setting spray again. Same way I showed you, cross and tease. So keep your eyes closed, don't squint them, because we just did concealer on our eyes and we want that to be set. just like that, and then just let it kind of set. It takes about maybe just under a minute. You'll feel it. It's gonna feel a little bit like little sprays on your face, and then it just kind of goes away. The smell is amazing, by the way. So those are tips and tricks on how to use your concealer. So at this point, I would go and use my eye pigments, and then I do my face. So you do your face after eyes, because pigments, some can fall out on your cheeks, and you don't want to have your face makeup done already and then have to clean up and then do it again. So eyes are next, then face, then lips, and you'll have a final look. I'll come back and show you mine. Hey everybody, this is a primer quick tip. Yes, I've done my face with only concealer and brows. I'm about to do the rest of my face, but I want to show you what I do first. I grab my Glorious primer, and before I use my foundation brush, I actually am going to take a little bit of this primer and work it into the hair of the brush, okay? And this kind of prepares my brush for the foundation to go on smoother, and just adding that extra element of primer just really helps all of my makeup stick and stay, and it's already amazing, but it just is that extra layer. So if you're having trouble with caking and creasing, sweating, try this trick. Adding a little bit of primer. Also adding primer to your concealer before you use it. Adding primer to your foundation before you use it. So don't forget your primer, and that's a really cool, quick makeup artist trick. So this is my final look, and thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I know this was kind of long, but full of tips and tricks to use your concealer. Definitely finish with your setting powder. Get a translucent setting powder. I love ours just because it has an element that blurs imperfections, and that's what a really good setting powder does. It's got diffusers. Go look for that. If you want to try the one I use, I'm happy to help you with that. And then use that setting spray. You are good to go. Have a nice day. Thank you so much for watching.